Welcome to the NC Spin After Spin. Additional comments from our panelists just available on our website. Becki Gray, we had a loaded show last week. What do you wish you'd had a chance to say, but you didn't get a chance to?
Well, Tom, we were talking about the impact of the coronavirus, the impact on the economy, the governor's latest executive order, how slow we are to reopen, and the needs that are across the state. Leo mentioned the local governments in the small towns. North Carolina has received $3.5 billion from the federal government in this CARES money. As of last night, with the legislation that was passed, the legislature has distributed about $2 billion of that. Now, some people have been frustrated and said, we ought to be spending it all now. I'll tell you, the reason why they've held back a little bit on this is, first of all, to meet the immediate needs of those that we know what they are, and there are a lot of them. Local governments is part of that. Of course, the health care needs, and it goes on and on. But one thing that we're waiting for is some more flexibility from the federal government. As the federal government put that CARES money package together for the states, it was designated, and it's pretty clearly drawn what you can spend that money on and what you can't spend the money on. There are many states, and North Carolina is one of them, who has asked the federal government for more flexibility in spending that money. And so the reason why the General Assembly has held back on this a little bit is, one, as this goes on, let's make sure that the money's going where it's really needed, and then also, if we get that federal flexibility, to be able to use it for some other needs. And in the adjournment resolution that they passed just last night, they're coming back on September 2nd, and it's very clearly drawn what they can do, and it really is to deal with the additional federal money.
But part of the problem with this CARES money was it was designated 40% of it had to be spent in local communities. The problem was that the stipulation from the government was that the communities or counties had to have 500,000 or more populations in them.
Right.
And there are only 3 counties in North Carolina that qualify for that.
Right. So again, we're asking for some flexibility for that and waiting from the federal government to see what happens. So everybody's kind of on pins and needles about that, whether we're going to have more flexibility, because the money has to be spent by December 30th.
Well, I think there are a lot of people that are being critical of the legislature for not being more responsive to local government needs. I understand what you're saying about we don't know what's coming down the pike, but we do know that they are in immediate desperate situation in many of these local governments.
Absolutely, it's a challenge. And, what they're doing is they're looking at some of the reserve funds that they have. Many of these local governments put money aside too, which was a really smart thing to do. Also, looking at efficiencies and looking back and saying, okay, what can we not do for a while? I think, and this may lead, silver linings in these things. This may lead to some discussions of consolidation, maybe some consolidation with water and sewer systems. And, the opportunities are there to look at maybe different ways of doing things.
Yeah, we could get really radical and think about consolidating counties in some cases. But we'll go there. That's another story for another day. Thank you for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.